How exciting.
I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Villa Park Village Board. Today is June 25th at 7 p.m. Clerk Konecki, could you please call the roll?
Yes, Trustee Aiello. Trustee Salala. Trustee Kazone.
Here.
Trustee Case.
Here.
Trustee Tucker. Here. Trustee Wagner.
Here.
President Volkes.
Here. And we'll all stand for the pledge, and Trustee Wagner will lead us in prayer when we get done. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trustee Wagner, lead us in prayer, please.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that might affect the residents, staff, businesses, surrounding communities, and all those that enter the village of Villa Park. And continue to remind us that all we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and for the service of humanity. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Next item on the agenda is public comments on agenda items. If anyone in the public has any, did anyone sign up, man?
I have no one on the list.
Okay. So is it anybody who just came in wants to comment on an item that's on the agenda? Now's your time. If it's an agenda item, if it's a non-agenda item, we'll take it up at the end.
Don't even know what the agenda is.
Okay. There's some out there on the door out there if you want to follow. Yes. Okay, with that, we'll move on to amendments on the agenda. Do any of the board members have any amendments to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 5 is the DuPage Convention and Visitors Bureau update with Beth Marchetti. You're going to give us a little update on the Visitors and Convention Bureau.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
We're having a little technical difficulty
We can.
with the screen.
She needs the
So
microphone.
I'm just going to give my presentation because
She needs
I
the
will be so
microphone.
fascinating.
Oh,
to see all that anyway.
Yeah. Well, if you're just going to give presentation, why don't you come up here
Sure.
and get on this mic over here, okay?
Absolutely.
Sorry about that.
No problem. Do you need it on?
It's okay.
Okay. So good evening. Thank you for having me tonight. I was saying I realized I had been here several times with different administrations. I wanted to make sure that I was in front of you this year. So thanks for having me. Appreciate working with Village Manager Keener. Thank you. So my name is Beth Marchetti. I'm the Executive Director of the DuPage CBB. I have had the pleasure of working with and for the CBB for 18 years, but as the director, serving as the director for the last 3. So it's been a true honor to promote tourism in DuPage County. We are the certified bureau representing DuPage County, meaning that we receive a portion of the state hotel tax back on the local level to help promote our areas. So Illinois is one of the few states that actually does that. Unfortunately, we haven't had a state budget in a couple of years, so, but I will say that we have had some true wins because tourism is still being funded because we're still collecting a lot of hotel tax dollars. So it's a great program for all of us. It is a private-public partnership, so we rely on the state grant being matched on the local level. So thank you to the Village of Villa Park for matching some of those state dollars to help promote Villa Park. We use those dollars for a lot of purposes, but 2 really main: for sales of our destination and then for marketing and promoting our area. So our sales team attends over 20 trade shows a year. We have a lot of different, we have 4 different salespeople who are in charge of specific markets. So for example, with the passing of Billy Graham recently, we've had a lot of interest in religious reunions, religious meetings at Cantini, at Wheaton College, just a lot of interest in that. So we have a dedicated religious planner who actually goes out and finds those kind of meetings. So I had this beautiful picture of all of our 4 salespeople, but we'll send you that presentation after. We also go to pharmaceutical and medical shows. We have such a presence in DuPage County with our hospitals and medical facilities that are moving out from Chicago into DuPage, so we have a lot of interest in medical meetings. And then, as I said, religious meetings. We actually attended for the first time the Religious Conference Management Association, or RCMA, which we actually brought back a lot of pieces of business for our hotels in the area. Some of the successes that we've had recently, I wanted to just highlight a little bit on. We hosted the Olympic National Weightlifting Championship we booked it for February 19. It's 850 room nights in our hotels. It's about a $563,000 direct spend for the areas. So while Villa Park doesn't have tremendous hotel assets, we are driving people to our area, they're spending money, and we're serving up information on Villa Park, such as the Prairie Path and different places that you can see and do and eat. So really great ways to get people to visit. We also, this is an interesting one, if you're a Hot Wheels collector, we actually are hosting the Hot Wheels annual convention in April of next year. 1,500 room nights, who knew? So those are just a couple of the examples of the meetings that we find and try to bring to our area. So we're definitely a meetings destination. We have 115 hotels, 16,000 hotel rooms. Just to give you a little idea of what that means for DuPage County, we would have been almost a quarter of the hotel rooms needed to host the Olympic bid. So when Chicago was vying for that bid in 2016, we would have been a quarter of all the hotel rooms. So we're a really big, powerful, necessary force for Chicago as well. So we talked a little bit about sales, and then we also have our marketing efforts. So last year we underwent a new brand, Do More in DuPage. Again, I'll show you those in that presentation. But that brand has been very successful. We're trying to get the information out about DuPage County. We really felt that we weren't just 20 miles west of Chicago. We certainly love our proximity to Chicago, but we thought we had enough tourism product to stand on our own. So that's why we took a bold leap. So we definitely have a lot of advertising, digital, billboard, geofencing, serving up ads to Woodfield Mall to come over to this side of the county line. So we're really trying to spend some targeted money in those kind of marketing efforts. And they've been very successful. We've had a lot of press and a lot of media over the last year. We were on WGN Around Town, WLS Radio, Bob and Marianne's last segment. And then ABC7's Judy Sue has agreed to be our brand ambassador for DuPage County. So she has been a great supporter. And I hope that many of you got to see the beer segment, the craft brewery segment, on WLS on Judy, or excuse me, WLS. ABC7, there we go, Judy's segment. DuPage County is also one of the healthiest counties in Illinois, so we really capitalize on that. We're working with the health department, we're working with the Forest Preserve, the Prairie Path, Power Forward, and just really trying to get the people to use our trails. There's 3 million people are using the Forest Preserves every year, but we need to make sure that our attendees at the conferences are just not sitting in a board meeting all day long or a convention center all day long, that they're actually getting out and exploring our great trails. We also underwent a strategic plan last year, and we really were hoping to more unify the county, to be more competitive, and to really talk about product development, including sports. So we are losing market share to Chicago, Rosemont, Peoria, Tinley Park, some of our competitors in the area. About 10 years ago, Chicago passed an airport departure tax. So an unknowing visitor hops in a cab at O'Hare or Midway Airport and happens to say they want to come to the suburban market. They're actually penalized an assessment of a fee. Chicago and Rosemont now have a $6 million slush fund to help secure meetings to the area. So I'll give you an example. Everyone heard about Garth Brooks launching his comeback concert at Rosemont. That money was paid on the backs of the visitors coming to the suburban markets. So we were trying to figure out how we can get back. or how we, not really, but because we love working with them, but how we can really capitalize on our own efforts. So our board of directors created a pilot grant program. We tried it out for a year and it's been very successful. So if we have a piece of business, a meeting, that they're interested in our area, possibly looking at St. Louis or Indianapolis, but they're worried about transportation from the airport, for example, or they're worried about some other transportation or anything else that they would need. Our bureau would put in half the money, and we actually go to our communities and say, hey, would you be interested in covering the other half to help bring that piece of business to the hotels, or even if it was to the ODM or anything else like that. To date, that program has booked 19,000 hotel rooms since we launched it. And it was really only about a 52,000 contribution from our communities. So it's been very successful. It's small compared to $6 million that Chicago has, but it's a start. And we're really trying to get, hopefully, Chairman Cronin and the entire county board to understand that Illinois is in trouble, and yet tourism is continuing to bring in hotel stays and continuing to fund a lot of the general revenue funds for Springfield. Another piece of information, there's about $18 million that's generated in state hotel tax in DuPage County. 33% of that is used for tourism across statewide efforts. The other 67 is being used for general revenue purposes, whether it's funding police, fire, social services. So tourism is one of the answers to Illinois' economy. Just another quick little piece of information of what we've been able to book right here in our own backyard. We had an hearing impaired hockey tournament here in Bensonville. This was a group of kids from all over the country who have been here for 20 years. It's actually in its 45th year. They had a bad experience at their last ice arena, and so we were able to swoop in and really get them to stay in Bensonville at the edge. And they actually were filtering out throughout the area and exploring our areas. This was about 469 room nights, about a $400,000 direct spend. We're really proud of that event because it was a great, heartwarming, Wayne Messmer sang the national anthem, and all the kids were signing the national anthem, so it's really awesome. So those are the kind of things that we're really trying to capitalize on, sports meetings, different things that we can bring into our area. We have a really wonderful opportunity in 2021. We're bringing in the USBC, U.S. Bowling Congress National Annual Women's Conference. So it's going to be 50,000 hotel room nights over a 3-month period of time. The price tag, $600,000. So we were able to work with our partners and really whittle that down. So we have a lot of our communities that are anteing up some money out of that pilot grant program that I mentioned. But this is going to be a great win. It's kind of like the Ryder Cup of bowling for women. So I think you're going to be seeing a lot of activity. And we have reporting that can show that the hotels are full, the occupancy is higher, the revenue per available room will be higher. So we're really excited about that event. And then my last little piece of information is we're really pleased that we were able to help promote Money Magazine's one of your wonderful communities that you received that award. We were able to push that out a little bit through our channels as well, and that was one of the highest day visits. We had 7,500 visits to on that post that day. So congratulations to Villa Park on being named a great community to live in. Of course, Moore Brewery couldn't be happier that when I started in this business, you couldn't put any alcohol on the cover of anything, and now here the state is pushing breweries, distilleries, and wineries, and nothing else. So really pleased that we're able to offer over 50 breweries in DuPage County. So that's really all I had. I just wanted to give you a little update. I mean, we love Villa Park, and I think the Prairie Path is just a tremendous asset in our own backyard, and anything that we can do from a tourism standpoint to try to drive more business. We love the ODM. We certainly, this part of DuPage County, you don't have hotels right in your own backyard, but I think there's some things we can do to make sure that we're driving economic development through tourism. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. I'm happy to email this presentation to you all. I'm sorry it didn't work. It's very colorful and pretty.
I'm sure. Well, I want to thank you. You know, we can't do it alone. So we appreciate the help that the Convention and Visitors Bureau can do for Villa Park. And you've been on board there now 4 years or so, and appreciate that. But yeah, there's a lot of market out there. Unfortunately, like you said, we don't have the hotel rooms, but I'm sure we have people coming through. We got Odeum and people passing through, restaurants and breweries. So I really appreciate you promoting us as Villa Park. So.
Well, I think we have such a rich history too, and sometimes, you know, DuPage doesn't have that one iconic thing. It's the personalities of all 38 communities, and so to bring in and tell that story, and even being with Jan one day, I thought I'd been here a long time, lived here my entire adult life, and learned new things about Villa Park that I never knew. So I think those are the stories. You know, Portillo's in the first Villa Park location, and just the revitalization of the downtown and different things like that, of the history of Villa Park. So I think those are really important things to tell. We love the Greco family. They helped start the Bureau, so I wanted to make sure you all knew that, because it was a lot of, it was Jack Knepper from the county, and then a lot of civic leaders from the College of DuPage, hospitality industry, and then just different business leaders that really got the Bureau started in 1987. So thank you.
Came along.
You're a big reason why we're here.
Do we have any questions from any board members?
With all the bike paths we have, is there any talk of like putting divvy bikes or anything like that in DuPage County?
There actually is. I think one of the hard things about DuPage is that we're so vast and large. People are doing it in silos. And so Zagster Bike has been talking to several of our communities. It really boils down to having a sponsor that funds it. And then at the trailheads where those will be placed. But I think there is opportunities. I will tell you, Oak Park did a divvy bike trial program, and I just think out of all the places, you know, with all the Frank Lloyd Wright sites, they took it out within a year. And so I'm not saying that it can't happen or it shouldn't happen. There's a lot. You have to make sure you have a lot of foot traffic and that people actually have the need. I'm sitting on a couple different committees. A couple of the leaders there say, well, we think everybody that's here already has a bicycle. Well, we need to explore that a little bit and do a little bit more focus group to determine that. But I think there's an opportunity there for sure. There's a Centennial Trail around the Forest Preserve, or all around the county, I think, and part of that extension of that goes all the way to Wisconsin. And so to do that, 100 miles of biking, and to get something for it, for doing it, I think there's an opportunity for promotion there. So,
Great.
I hope that answered. There's
Yeah,
definitely
that was
some investigation on that.
Good.
Thank you.
Anybody else have a question, comment?
Wanted to thank Trustee Wagner publicly too for joining us on our inaugural National Trails Day on June 2nd. We are in partnership with the Forest Preserve, and so we really wanted to kick off our trails, and I think we're going to be growing that program, and maybe we can launch it here in Villa Park and have more brewery be out there with food trucks and really kind of connect all of our communities together at some point. So
Very good. Well, we'll be in touch.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Beth. Okay, we'll move on to item number 6, the consent agenda, which is A is the minutes from the board meeting of June 11th, 2018, and B, bill listing for the week of June 11th and June 18th, 2018, for a total amount of $381,010.99. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda? Trustee Kazone?
President, I'll make that motion.
Second, Trustee Case?
Second.
Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Okay, Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
Trustee Tucker,
Yes.
Trustee Kazone,
Yes.
Trustee Case,
Yes.
and President Volkes.
Yes. Item 7 is the second reading of an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, reducing the number of Class I liquor license. We talked about this at our last board meeting. This has to do with the Outback Steakhouse moving out of town. So we're lowering the Class I license, which they had, by 1. So do I have a motion for the second reading?
President Bolfus, I'd like to make that motion.
Thank you, Trustee Wagner. Do I have a second? Trustee Kazone?
I'll second that.
Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Case,
Yes.
Trustee Tucker,
Yes.
Trustee Kazone,
Yes.
Trustee Wagner,
Yes.
President Volkes.
Yes. Item 8 is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, to borrow funds for the Water Pollution Control Loan Program for combined sewer separation improvements to be completed as part of the Astor and Myrtle Improvement Project. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Village of Villa Park, Ike PLP Grant Study and Stormwater Management Addendum recommended the separation of the existing combined sewer mains on East Astor Court between Summit Avenue and Myrtle Avenue, and then South Myrtle Avenue between Highland Avenue and Park Boulevard. Staff wishes to pursue low-interest IEPA loan funding for the design and construction of these combined sewer separation improvements through the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency's Water Pollution Control Loan Program, an ordinance authorizing the village to borrow up to $938,250 in loan funds is needed. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do I have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Wagner.
I'd like to make that motion.
Do I have a second? Trustee Case?
Second.
Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Tucker?
I have a question on, is this the last section that we're gonna need with this loan? Because we've done from the look of it, we borrowed, we had bonds that we approved in January 22nd on this, in 2008, that was part of the bonds. And then you did a IPA loan earlier on this section, according to minutes in 2014. Now we're doing this loan. I realize that was in the budget, but is this the last section that we have to do for this?
This is just for the sewer separation, right?
Correct. This project has been in the works for 2 years, so maybe what you're talking about, 2014 was our initial actions towards this loan. We've been working on this loan for that long. When we passed the combined sewer separation fee, its intended purpose was to go out and obtain an EPA loan for this project. So there have not been any previous combined sewer separation projects funded through IEPA loan. We've had wastewater projects funded through IEPA loan, but this is the first of what will be a series of projects for combined sewer separation through EPA loans. This first one will be funded through the combined sewer separation fee. All future combined sewer separation projects, and there's about $14 million in project, will be funded through the utility sales tax. And those will be separate ordinances that will be brought forward as those projects become ready.
So is this one gonna be, or are there other ones of that?
I'm extremely hard of hearing. I can't hear a word you're saying.
Is that just for this group alone, asterisks, or are there going to be other projects that will be asked for loans later on?
There'll be numerous loan projects for combined sewer separation going forward.
My question is, are we done with asterisks needing money funds, or are there going to be other loans we're gonna need for the asterisk project
Not for this
later?
project, no. This is.
Okay, so
this is
this
all we
is
need for
strictly,
this
this is
project.
all we need for this project?
That's
This is
correct.
what we, because we did the wastewater separation, or you had a strip for the wastewater, you had things for the stormwater section for asterisks, and now we're doing this loan for combined sewers, so that's why I was asking.
The stormwater was part, yes, the stormwater portion could not be funded through IEPA loan, because IEPA loans will only fund wastewater projects, which combined sewer separation falls under that. So for the stormwater piece of this project, that was the stormwater bonds, that was a portion of those we paid for that. So there's 4 different funding sources for this project. And the combined sewer is being funded, through the IEPA low interest loan, assuming this gets approved tonight.
Anything else?
That's my
Trustee
question.
Wagner?
Yeah, just a question, not so much about what we're doing here, but I noticed that there's an additional document that it's associated with the enactment of the ordinance that the clerk is signing off on, and I should have asked this maybe in advance, but is this a new procedure, or is this something that we've been doing in the past that I just didn't notice, or?
It's not a new procedure.
The IEPA loan process has not changed as far as I know. No, I'm not questioning that. I'm questioning the additional document that I saw in the packet that's associated with the enactment of the ordinance.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the publication in the paper. Is that new? He's asking, is that new requirement by the Illinois EPA?
No?
No?
Okay.
So,
It it's been a while since we've had a loan,
Yeah.
but
Okay, and the
as far
other,
as I know, nothing has changed in the procedures.
yeah, and once again, I'm not questioning the loan. I have no problem with that whatsoever. But I'm just questioning, there was also, and I think it's associated with the next, and maybe I should hold my question for then, but a notice of intent to borrow funds and right to file petition. This is
Right.
because we're incurring indebtedness that we,
That's correct.
Okay.
We've had to do that for every single IUP loan we've done in the past.
okay,
That applies to the next item also.
you're right. Okay, and that's all I had. Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes,
Trustee Case?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes. Item 9 is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, to borrow funds from the Water Pollution Control Loan Program for wastewater system improvements to be completed as part of the 2018 Sewer Rehabilitation Program. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. Village of Villa Park Sanitary Sewer Master Plan recommended various wastewater system improvements at locations throughout the village. Staff wishes to pursue low-interest IEPA loan funding for the design and construction of these wastewater system improvements through the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency's Water Pollution Control Loan Program. An ordinance authorizing the village to borrow up to $1,316,000 in loan funds is needed. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Do we have a motion for the ordinance? Trustee Wagner?
I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Trustee Kazone?
I'll second that.
Any questions or comments? Trustee Tucker?
Yes. This is part of what you were discussing, the wastewater. This is only a piece of it, correct? There will be more brought up as we go along? Because this isn't everything in the village, correct, that's going through? This is only a section for 2018, correct?
Correct. This is, there'll be at least one more, if not two more wastewater loan projects coming in the future. The first one was back under the American Recovery Act. We were able to get 25% principal forgiveness on that one some years ago. So now this is, I think it's the third project. We were able to do one, I think, without loan funding. But then there's one more coming after that. And these are all from the master plan that was developed several years ago. This one, just for your information, consists mainly of sewer lining. As you recall, last time we lined, those that were here, we have 1950s era thin wall concrete pipe sanitary sewers that are being deteriorated because of the caustic nature of the sewage. We should have never used concrete pipe for sanitary sewers, but I won't get into that. So we lined many of them through the American Recovery Act. So this is finishing off, it's in the northwest section of the village. And then we also have an area where we have sanitary sewers and rear yard areas that are very difficult to get to. So another part of the project is to go and take care of those sewers that run through rear yards.
And this is all continuing with our sanitary master plan that we're required to have by the Illinois EPA to have a plan for taking care of our sewer system, right?
Well, not only that, but it's also helping remove infiltration
Right.
flow in the system, which is also an EPA mandate.
Requirement, right. Anything else, trustee?
Nope.
Anyone else? Roll call vote, please.
Hey, Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes,
President Bolfus?
Yes. Item 10 is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, adopting the DuPage County Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. Adoption of the plan update is a prerequisite for obtaining federal emergency management agency funding for several mitigation programs. Each governmental body participating in the plan must individually adopt the plan by resolution. Staff requests that the President and Board of Trustees adopt the DuPage County Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan 2018. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do we have a motion for the resolution?
President Bolfus, I'd like to make that motion.
Trustee Wagner. Do I have a second? Trustee Case?
Second.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? This is quite a big document. It was 147 pages about. I did scan through it. Very interesting. You know, it had some history and events that happened in Villa Park. I believe is this on the website, Manager Keener?
If it's not, Your Honor, it will be.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, kind of history on the natural disasters we had, floodings and that type of thing. So it's a long read, but you could skim through it. So, any other questions from anybody? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
President Volkes?
Yes. Item 11 is a resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, adopting a proposal to purchase a 2019 Ford F-550 regular cab truck with service body from Landmark Ford Incorporated. Manager Keener.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Streets and Forestry Division of the Public Works Department has identified a 1997 Ford F-350 truck, also known as Vehicle Number 11, for replacement. Staff requests authorization to purchase one 2019 F-550 regular cab two-wheel drive truck with service body via the State of Illinois Central Management Services Joint Purchasing Program from Landmark Ford of Springfield, Illinois, for a total amount of $49,900. Funds are budgeted in the Vehicle Replacement Fund for this purchase. Vehicle number 11 would be sold at public auction. Thank you, Your Honor.
Do I have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Kazone?
President, I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second? Trustee Tucker? Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Tucker?
I have a question. Why are we not getting a four-wheel drive instead of a two-wheel drive? And is this truck going to have sides on it? So you didn't put in a picture of it. What's the design of this body on this truck?
Rich Salerno is coming up to address those questions. He's Public Works.
Good evening. First question, why two-wheel drive versus four-wheel drive? One, keep cross down, this will not be a plow vehicle. This is strictly a service vehicle. The service body will be very similar to the body that's on the current truck that's getting replaced. It has side compartments for storage of shovels, hand tools, generators, so on and so forth. It's primarily used from our streets division for concrete patching, asphalt patching, any routine breakouts, I would say within the street division.
What's the weight of the trailer that's going to be pulled, that you're doing the extra payload package upgrade on
The trailer
it?
that we currently has a 14,000 pound capacity.
So it's got a 14-pound capacity?
Yeah, the trailer, we have a trailer that we purchased a couple of years ago that can have 14,000 pounds.
And is there a reason you're not going to use it as a plow truck as a backup?
Primarily, just with our staffing levels and the equipment and what we do have. This vehicle currently right now is, I would say, 22 years old. We didn't see fit to have another plow vehicle. We just purchased last year a one-ton plow vehicle. We also have a large plow vehicle coming up. So currently, it's not in a rotation for plowing. That's why we keep the cost down. And four-wheel drive and a plow would be probably just close to $10,000.
So it'd add $10,000 if you made it the four-wheel and could use it as a plow truck if we added this to the fleet?
Correct. Meaning, yes, adding four-wheel drive and then the plow itself.
Plow we already have, actually. You only have to do the invoid of changing it over to use it as a plow truck if you got the four-wheel drive. And do our trucks have warning lights on it right now? You're saying you're adding the warning lights on. Does this truck have it already?
Yes, complete warning lights are included with the package here. Strobes plus four-way strobes on each corner, LED backup lights, as well as a roof tab beacon.
All our trucks have them right now, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. It's not something you're adding to it.
All of our emergency vehicles and first responders have lights.
But this 11 service body does have the side and the compartments you were saying. So it's not a totally flatbed truck.
It's not a flatbed, it's a
Okay.
service body.
So you couldn't tell by the design whether it was flatbed or just they had the sides on the white utility truck.
Is that it?
That is it?
Anyone else? Roll call vote.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
President Poltis?
Yes. Just want to point back to the last item, the hazardous mitigation plan. Just so you know, it's on the county site, so maybe if we just had a link to go right down. So, okay. Then we'll go to item number 12, public comments on non-agenda items. Clerk Kornecki, do we have anyone signed up on a non-agenda item?
Yes, Kurt Hoffman signed up regarding flooding issues on Maple.
Hello, my name is Kurt Hoffman. I've been a 25-year resident of Villa Park. I know some of the faces in here. I'm familiar with Al. I met you when you were making your rounds to be a trustee.
You live over by my brother.
What's that?
You live by my brother.
Okay. You know, my wife has told me before that you get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar, so I'm going to go with the honey approach to start out with, and I do apologize that I'm not as prepared as I'd like to be for tonight. You know, we used to get 100-year rains every other year, every 3 years. Now we get them every other week, it seems. My house seems to be situated in a bowl, or is situated in a bowl. And years ago, when they built the house next door to me, due to a conflict, what I believe was a conflict of interest between one of the trustees and the realtor he used to be a part owner of, pretty much ramrodded through the sale of a house next to me, one door west. And that lot at the time collected a lot of water. When they built the house, the village proposed channeling some of that water out to the street, thus further overburdening the already overburdened combined sanitary sewer. Some of this correlates very closely to items 8 and 9. I wish, and going with the honey approach, I can go so far, but I wish you, Mrs. Tucker, were more interested in putting that $10,000 towards the separation of the sewers as opposed to pumping $10,000 more into an unneeded vehicle or unneeded accessories on a vehicle. I'd invite all of you, please, come over to my house, 242 East Main, and check out the yard one door west of me. The other day when it rained Friday, it was like a raging torrent coming out from his backyard. My neighbor, I love my neighbor, he's a great guy. The developer, I cannot say the same about. He somehow, through this conflict of interest, my perceived conflict of interest, ramrodded the sale through. It now pushes water onto my property. With the water now coming out of his backyard, flushing onto the street, it further overburdens the system. The system that is so overburdened that the storm sewer lid at Villa and Maple blows up there. I called the village the other day, spoke with someone, because I myself spent 12 years working sewer and water, installing mains, doing that type of work. I'm fairly knowledgeable about that. I spent 25 years in construction. When I saw the sandbags on top of the sewer lid, I'm like, what the hell are they doing? If you put the weight on the sanitary sewer lid, you're going to thus cause the surcharge to go further upline and further back up into my basement. I do not have overhead sewers. I put off installing a check valve because I was told 3 years ago when I replaced my driveway with funds I didn't have because I was required to by the village, that the sanitary sewer system would be separated in 2018. Now, I can't really get a definite date on when that is actually going to occur. We passed the referendum. I was telling people to pass the referendum 2 or 3 years ago, whatever it was, and I believe it directly correlates to some of this from items 8 and 9. And now I'm being told that it's going to get bumped back even further. How many more sewer backups am I going to have in my house? Had Friday, had I not been home, running 2 2-inch sump pumps and a 1-inch sump pump in my basement stairwell, my basement would have been way overburdened. I'd have had 2 or 3 feet of water in my basement. Because of my knowledge of how to fight it off, fortunately I was able to fend it off. A couple of weeks ago, in the other 100-year rain, I wasn't so lucky, and neither were a lot of my neighbors. I'm frankly kind of surprised that more of my neighbors are not here. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to rally the troops to try and get more people from my neighborhood over there. I don't really understand how it is deemed who's first on the list for sewer separation, who gets, who's had problems. I know I'm not the only street in Villa Park that's overburdened. I know I'm not the only street in Villa Park that needs to have their sewer separated. I came rather unprepared tonight, but I did look up very quickly this long-term control plan that was online on the village website, and this is dated September 12th, 2014, and it's stated in here that approximately 1/3 of the village of Villa Park is served by its combined sewer system. Since the 1970s, however, the village has progressively separated its 4 combined sewer basins, and at present, combined sewers collect direct runoff from only 1/4 of the land area within these basins. So if we've been going at this since the 70s, and it's 1/3 of Villa Park, surely in the ensuing 40, 50 years, we should have been able to have gotten to make and have those sewers. It was an EPA mandate, and I may be speaking way off the cuff. It was an EPA mandate a long, long time ago, prior to my moving into the house. Frankly, I'm pretty tired of it. My wife lives in constant fear of every rainstorm that comes down the pike, and we shouldn't have to live like that. Whether I have overhead sewers or floor drains, if the sewer system was separated, and if there wasn't somehow a surcharge in the line causing manholes to blow off at Villa and Maple, and also at North and Villa, there was a sewer lid blowing off there, and I understand it was a massive amount of rain, but an adequate sewer system should be able to handle that. I was joking the other day with the person I spoke to. A lot of residents claim, they're not opening the gates, they're not opening the gates. Well, I know that's a bunch of BS. I know there's only a certain amount of annual overflow that's allowed to go into the quarry or wherever it's routed to, but when a sewer manhole is surcharging, it happens quite frequently, so frequently that the village has to send out barricades and sandbags to normally surround it, not weigh it down and cause it to back up into my basement. I got out of my truck and I took those sewer bags off because I knew that would alleviate some of the pressure. But this has been going on way, way, way too long. And again, I don't know how you ascertain who gets prioritized in this, and I know I'm not the only street in Villa Park.
Well, we have a master plan, as you're aware of which streets get done where. And I think, my memory serves me right, I don't know if your street's next year or 2020.
I can't get a date.
Yeah, that's.
I'd like a concrete date so that I know.
Well, we can't give you a concrete date because all has to do about funds that are available. But I think your whole street's due to be redone in the next year or 2, if I remember right. So that's just off the top of my head. So
again, and I really would like to see some of the faces come over to my house. My address is 242. I'd like you to see the backyard of my neighbor and look at my house and how it backs up into my yard and the neighbor west of him. And, it would be...
Is that the partial street to the north? Is it coming?
No, that's Beach.
That's
I'm
Beach,
Maple.
yeah.
We go between Villa and Summit, west of there.
Okay.
But I'd invite all of you to come over and take a look at it because my neighbor's sump pump runs across my driveway, and since we had that massive rainstorm when the ground was still frozen earlier this spring, his sump pump virtually kicks on every 30 seconds. Across my driveway apron is a river so that the curb is now green with algae that grows there. If I don't sweep it out, it'll gather up, tons of algae, it starts bubbling. We've got toads, resident toads and ducks living in the pond that is my neighbor's backyard. I'm asking on my neighbor's behalf that, and I know it sets a bad precedent for everybody else, but it would be really nice if the village, because this was not his doing, it was the ramrodding of the deal with the house.
Well, we do have a plan in place for helping drain backyards.
That would
So,
be great.
we have somebody get in touch with you. You got a date on here for this? 2020? So,
2020.
yeah. So, we'll come over there and take a look at it. We'll
it
have
would be
staff
much
come over there and look
appreciated.
at your neighbor's pond and see if there's anything that we can do to help drain that out to the street.
Yeah,
But
it
again,
hasn't
it's
dried out
going,
since
then it's
that.
going into the combined sewer.
Well, I mean, when
but-
there's no
Right.
overburdening going on,
Now
it
you're
doesn't
okay.
matter whether it goes into the street. It's when
Yep.
we get that massive storm that we got
Mhm.
like the other day and 2 weeks prior and a year and a half prior.
I know.
You know.
So, okay, we'll
All
see
right.
what we can do.
Well, thank you for listening to
Okay.
me, and I am going to try to get more residents here to squeak a little bit because we all know that
Well,
we disagree.
Yeah, we hear you, so.
Thank
Anyone else signed up?
No.
Do we have anyone from the audience who would like to comment? Please come up to the microphone. There's a sign-up sheet there, if you could put your name and address on there, and state your name for the record, please.
My name is Brad Bender, and I live on Pine Street, 1 block south of Maple. So, and I'm here for the same exact cause that this gentleman is here today. I'm not here to take up anybody's time, but the fact of the matter is that we do have a 13-inch sanitary and storm drain that runs down my street. There's 42 houses that are on my street. Everybody's sewage goes into this pipe, as well as all the stormwater goes into this pipe. We're talking 13 inches. That's this big, all right? For 42 houses on 1 block, okay? This is common of any time it rains on our street. Every single time. As you can see in that picture there, I clean the storm drains all the time. All the time. I'm right in the boat with this guy right here. My backyard floods consistently. Actually, all my neighbors' backyards flood consistently. My front yard is always flooded like that. Gets about 18, 20 inches deep. I mean, it's substantial. And like this gentleman said here today, is that we know that there's going to be a resolution to the problem. We all understand that. But our blocks need to be pushed up on this priority list because this
Do
is
you have
consistent.
backup into your basement of sewage?
I do. Yeah. And actually, I do have, and I will come to the next meeting and I will rally. I'm going to get this gentleman's phone number here. I talked to a lot of people on my block. I try to get more people to come. Eddie here, I moved into my house 2010. I bought it as an estate sale. So there was no, when you sign the property disclosures, you need to live in the residence for 12 months in order to disclose that there's sewer and water backup and all that type of stuff. Had no knowledge of it. First drain, boom, came up through. Put a standpipe in, that held that off for a little while. 2013, we got the massive rain, flooded with part of my French crap in my basement, 2 feet deep. And let me tell you, it's not fun cleaning up other people's poop and toilet paper and everything. I mean, I have more pictures that I'm gonna bring. My printer took a dump on me right at the end. No pun intended. But I have some disgusting pictures that I do want to show you guys to let you guys understand the magnitude and the effect that this happens. So I live at 310. Eddie, what do you live at? 262 Pine Street. 262. My brother lives at 244, somewhere around there, 210 Pine Street, somewhere around there. Or Maple, I'm sorry, he's on Maple Block. Eddie just got his back up and May 30th, that's the pictures there that you see is from May 30th.
And it's Friday.
Yeah, and then he said literally as his contractor was, pulling his tools out, Friday comes along, backs up again. You know what I mean? It's just an ever-going problem.
Yeah.
And we don't have control over the rain, we understand that, but it is more pertinent now than ever that it seems to be more consistent that we keep on getting these rains and rains. So, I'm gonna exchange my phone number with this gentleman, but I think that we do need to somehow prioritize to try to get the north end of the Villa Park somewhat involved. I mean, our street is very choppy. It's been pothole filled for probably it's never since the past 10 years or since 2010 since I moved in. So, but yes, it's an issue, and we do need to have some way to say, give me a date, give me something to work with to say, hey, you want to know what? Pine, Maple, Summit, you guys are on the list. We'll get you guys taken care of. I mean, I understand that we're not a massive town, but we do appreciate it.
Okay, we'll check it out. I think you're probably around 2020 also.
2019. We passed it in 2014. We're
Yep.
supposed to be 4 years later.
We're working on it. Okay, anyone else? State your name, sign in on the sheet there. You're at 262?
262 Pine Street.
Yeah.
My name's Gerardo Gutierrez. Just like Brad said, I live 3 doors down from you. Moved in 2015, just after I got out of the Marine Corps. Wanted to come back home, settle down roots. But within the last 3 years, I haven't had a flood. Never had any issues. Come May, my sewage backs up. Had to rip up my carpet. Literally just finished redoing my basement again on Thursday. And then Friday, I get back up again. So I do a little research. I go on the Villa Park website, let's say, what can Villa Park do for me? But I come to find out that if I would have moved 1 block east in Elmhurst, they offer $5,000 to help me out. Put a check valve over that sewer. Villa Park only gives me $1,000. I guess my question is, what's the difference?
Well, I don't
Why
have
is
any-
it that we get 1/5 of what Elmhurst does?
Elmhurst has a lot more money than we do, so we do what we can. So we have a lot of people who have taken advantage of that program, so
And I agree, but
which on the list.
it's a heavy burden, and
Yeah.
same thing, my wife's a nurse, she works nights, so now she's worried about the rain tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I work construction, so it's not easy for me to take time off, I don't get PTO. So every time I have to come home.
I hear both audios, when if the power goes off, I'm in trouble, so it's coming in.
And of course,
That's on some point.
Yep.
That's not
sewage.
Okay, we can't have this,
And then this is the thing also, is according to the website, the Villa Park website, we're one of the largest areas, Maple, Pine, we're one of the largest areas affected in Villa Park, but somehow we're not prioritized.
yeah,
That doesn't make sense to me, To me, you would think you would attack the largest portion that affects most of your residents.
well, we'll look into it. I can't give you any answers now. I know you're on the schedule for in a couple of years, but we'll see what we can do. That's all I can say.
I just hope you guys take into consideration, because in a couple of years, that could cost me 20 or 30,000.
Yes.
20 or 30,000 I do not have.
Mhm. Okay. What was your name again?
Eduardo, cheers.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else have something? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the clerk's report.
Yes, I just wanted to mention about the Kiwanis summer concerts coming up. And the first one will be actually on a Monday. It's July 2nd because of the holiday. And then following that, they will be every Wednesday in July by the Prairie Path, by the gazebo. Music starts at 6:30, concessions are at 6 o'clock. And so this year it's just a little bit different because we have the 4th of July right on a Wednesday. So we have the 2nd and then all the other Julys following that, all the other, which will be July 11, 18, and 25 are Wednesdays. So Kiwanis is just welcoming everyone to come out. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll go on to the trustees' report. We'll start on the right, trustee Kazone,
I had no report tonight.
trustee Case.
Yeah, just one brought to my attention about the 4th of July, and everybody's just wondering how the fireworks are going to be addressed this year. As far as, I see Chief Lay here, so.
Probably the way it's been done in the past, but I know a lot of residents aren't happy with that.
Right.
But they have problems with fireworks, they should call 911 and the police will come out there. But it gets kind of tough because they really have to witness it happening. So do their best.
That's it.
Trustee Tucker.
None tonight.
Trustee Wagner.
Thank you, President Bolfus. Just a couple things. Just want to let the public know that the Environmental Concerns Commission will not be meeting this Thursday. They will be meeting in July. And then also would like to remind folks that the annual ice cream social will be held at the Villa Park Historical Museum on July 3rd. I think it's from 7 to 9 p.m. And they have entertainment, which will be performing under the pavilion there. And just want to offer my thanks and appreciation to staff. I had an opportunity to go swimming at Jefferson Pool, and just was really impressed with the landscaping, the way it's been cleaned up. Of course, the parking lot is relatively new. The fascia, the pool looks really great. I know there's still residual disappointment about Lufkin, but I would encourage folks to go visit Jefferson. It looks really great, and even though it was a hot day, there was still plenty of room to go swimming laps. So just kudos to staff on that, and that's all I have.
Did you go down the slide?
I did go down the slide. It was very
I understand
exciting.
it's pretty fast.
It was. I was surprised.
Like they put Teflon on it or something. Thank you. President's report, just wanted to say thank you to everybody on staff and volunteers who worked Summerfest. Unfortunately, it was a little hot that weekend. You know, the temperature, humidity index was over 100, 105. But there were a number of people out there, and it was good to see everybody out. So thank you for all the hard work that staff did and the volunteers did. Reminder that the 4th of July parade kicks off at noon on July 4th. Again, over at Trinity Lutheran Church on Central is where the staging area is. It'll be the same route that we've had in the past few years. July 7th, for your information, is the Coffee with the Board at 9 o'clock upstairs here in the room just on the other side of the wall here. So that's on July 7th. And our next board meeting is on July 9th at 7 p.m. right here in the chamber right here. And then with that, we'll move to the manager's report.
Just one quick item, Your Honor, since we don't meet until the 9th of July, just wanted to wish everybody a happy 4th of July and have a good time with your family and be safe. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is an executive session, and that's A is 5 ILCS 120/2C1 personnel matters, 5 ILCS 120/2C2 collective bargaining, C5 purchase or lease of property, C6 sale and lease of property, C11 pending litigation, and C21 discussion of closed session minutes. Do I have a motion for executive session?
President Fulfus, I'd like to make that motion.
Thank you, Trustee Wagner. Do I have a second? Trustee Kazone?
I'll second that.
Okay. With that, roll call, please.
Trustee Case?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Kazone?
Yes.
Trustee Wagner?
Yes.
President Bolfus?
Yes, and with that, we're going to go into executive session. We will not be coming back. We'll see you again on the 9th of July.